Hey, what's up? It's your boy KB, and maybe you needed to hear this today. So, in the vein of change, of course, and changing patterns of behavior, which you have to do. Obviously, if you want to change, I mean, if you've been sitting, on the couch, and I'm not trying to say like the couch or whatever, use it as a, but you make up all these, dreams in your head about stuff, and you never do anything about any of it, and then you wonder why necessarily your world hasn't changed. Um, I watched one video that I'm going to steal the line, but it's essentially the same as, deciding, okay, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm losing weight, or I want to lose weight. I feel horrible. I'm not proud of myself. I need to go to the gym. So you buy a gym membership, and then you're going, and but whenever you go, like, you go to your personal trainer, and then he's like, okay, so today we're doing legs, and you're like, actually, like, wait a minute, I'm gonna go over here and text on my phone. My girlfriend's got some stuff going on, and after like, I'll be with you, but I'll be watching you guys, though. You know what I mean? Like, I'm seeing what you're doing. Like, I'm learning. And you go home, and the next day you go in and do your personal trainer, and he's like, okay, today we're gonna do biceps, and you're like, oh, you know what? Actually, my car's got a flat tire, and I gotta worry about this, but, like, I'm gonna watch you guys. I'm gonna see what's going on, and then you go back home, and then 2 days later, somebody's like, man, like, you don't look like you feel too good, and have you thought about going to the gym? And then you're like, I go every day. I go to the gym every day, and I don't understand what's not happening. So I mean, and that can go for so many different, things in life. But, like, you can be the person you want to be just by acting like that person, and it's not, I'm not talking like you're, I don't know, your lover's ex person that you are envious of, or, some guy at school that used to bully you, or that, if you make a picture in your head of what a good, in my case, I'm gonna say man, is and does, how do I become that person? And you just act like that person. It's it's not, you don't have to initiate, you don't have to go to a course, you don't have to talk to a priest, if you just start doing that every day, and the stuff adds up, and that's the whole point of everything, is that you gotta give it time. You gotta give it time. You gotta give it time. You got to give it time. Because everybody wants to, maybe they change some really bad habits that they got, and then 2 weeks go by, and they're like, I don't feel any better. I don't understand what's going on, after you've been treating your body like absolute garbage for 9 years, and you think 2 weeks of like stable food and a bed to sleep on is, enough to feel some type of, and then it sucks because these doctors at places, they just over prescribe stuff because people just won't quit bitching. But it takes like, man, I don't, because I still feel like I'm realizing it more about whatever and feeling better. But I mean, a year is definitely the solid, like, okay, but like from 1 month to 2 months to 3 months to 4 months to 5 months to 6 months to 7 months to 7 months to 8 months, 9 months, 10 months, 11, 1 year, 1 year, 1 year. And that's when hopefully the light goes on. Hopefully that light bulb, because you realize you can actually get a body. You can now see a body of work of what you are able to accomplish. But yeah, you just have to act like a good person. Like, just tell yourself that, even if you don't feel like you are a good person, even if you don't see your worth yet, because that will come. You will find purpose, and that's a huge. Actually, I'll get into that right now, because another thing that I've read recently about change is you have to learn what motivates you too. If you're not a disciplined person, if the only incentive to do the change is to like make, if you don't have enough incentive, you're not going to do the change. So like me, I didn't choose the incentive. The incentive just became itself. It was my children. Once I had some, I was diagnosed with diabetes in May a few years back, and had to inject myself daily with insulin and like monitor my blood sugar, and it was a lot, especially all at once out of nowhere. And whenever I was in the hospital, they were like, "Hey, your liver's doing pretty shitty too, by the way," which, of course, I could definitely imagine that being so. And they don't really that much bedside manner. They don't really care. So it's just, "Hey, your liver's doing shitty. Like, you should quit drinking. If not, you're gonna die. And like, good luck with that information." And I didn't quit drinking immediately. Of course not. Like, I had like a week in the hospital, and I probably could have, but I wasn't ready yet. But it wasn't very long after that. It was only a few months. I needed some time to. I did it. So, well, yeah, it was like sticking myself with the needle for the insulin 3 times a day, and like keeping track and just being like, oh my god, like spending time with my kids and like having to explain to them what in diabetes is and blood sugar, and like, hey, I could actually pass out or blah blah blah. And even though fortunately nothing bad happened, but that puts them in a adult situation, a little bit. But I hope that quitting drinking would help me, and by the grace of God, it did. And I'm not acting like I beat cancer by any means, and it just is in remission. I'll be diabetic now for the rest of my life. And it's maybe just hanging on by a thread, my pancreas and producing insulin again, because I tried something and it worked. It kind of like was like a starter shot for your pancreas in a way, like in that movie, like to the pancreas. Like, oh, what are you doing? Anyway, so I had to find what motivated me, and then other things kind of grew through that. What also motivated me was that I wanted to be proud of myself again. It had been a very, very long time since I've been proud of myself. And I was really tired of that feeling. And I have little humans that I don't want them to be assholes and POSs. And, I want them to be able to contribute and do way better than I did, I want to try and give my kids better tools than, like, the tools I were given. And that's, the whole thing. And like, what do they say? An empty glass can't fill, or a broken glass can't fill, or, if you're a mess, you can't. Just like if you can read all the help stuff you want, and watch videos and do stuff like when if you're actively in like a bad lifestyle and whatnot, and until like you remove yourself from that issue, like you can't actually do much. You can like prepare yourself and get some stuff, but it's weird how it works like that. But learning about like my resentments and stuff in my place in them has also motivated me to change. And just the fact that we don't know what's coming, my story's not over. My story's not even close to being over. And now I'll probably get hit by a bus tomorrow, but I would like to think that my story's not close from being over. And that's a lot of time. That's a lot of time. I'm playing guitar a lot more, and my happiness has always been directly correlated to how much a guitar's in my hand. It's like you could put them next to each other, and that makes sense. It does make sense, because music is such a cool thing. Music is such a cool thing. And I'm just grateful that I get to do this and just kind of, maybe I can help somebody. So my name is KB Hatfield, and maybe you needed to hear this today. And if you enjoy this, I guess subscribe. I'm gonna try and take some time out of every day, every other day, just to do this, because it helps me. So help me help you. Maybe you needed to hear this today. Is now over. Thank you.